He tells me when I'm connecting with him that he had so many issues with addictions here in the physical. He says, and Matt, there were times when I tried to clean up my life. He says, but I just couldn't do it, he tells me. The way that you loved and cared for him here in this world, he says to me, Matt, I will always be watching over him from the other side. So that was your friend here in this world?
Yes.
First of all, he's showing me his life at rapid fire when I'm connecting with him. And first of all, I gotta tell you, when I'm connecting with his soul, he shows me that he was like a party animal back in the day when I'm connecting with him.
Oh, yeah.
He says to me, Matt, he goes, you don't understand, because he's blasting music to me. He shows me that he loved music here in this world. He was constantly drinking and partying. And when I'm connecting with him, he goes, Matt, he goes, I was very good looking here in this world, he said to me. And I see that there were like women with mattresses on their backs hoping to be with him here in the physical world.
Oh, yeah.
He says to me, Matt, he goes, I gotta tell him one thing. First of all, when I'm speaking to him, this is really sad. Because he tells me that his death was an accident here in the physical world. He says, I didn't mean to die like this. I didn't mean to die like this.
Yeah.
And when I'm connecting with him, I'm gonna be very honest, all right? He shows me, I don't feel like this was just an overdose. I feel like he was poisoned or did not know what he was taking the night that he died.
I can see that, yeah.
Because when I'm connecting with him, I'm gonna be honest. He says to me, Matt, he says, here in this world, he says, I made a mess of my life. He says, because I was somebody who didn't want to get older here in this world. He shows me that he lives life without responsibility.
Yeah.
Because I see him like a nomad going from like house to house to house to house. And he's saying to me, Matt, he says, I want to let him know that first of all, he says, I'm sorry. He says, for all the things that he had to see me go through here in this world. Because he tells me when I'm connecting with him that he had so many issues with addictions here in the physical. He says, and Matt, there were times when I tried to clean up my life. He says, but I just couldn't do it, he tells me. He says that he would get clean for a little bit and then go back and get clean and go back. And when I'm speaking to him, even though you were his friend, he shows me that the two of you were like brothers at one point here in the physical world.
Yes.
And he says to me that first of all, he wants to thank you for not only being there for him, but also being his role model here in this world. Because he tells me, Matt, you don't understand my life. You don't understand my life. And I'm like, what do you mean? And he just showed me when I'm connecting with him that there were many issues with his family here in this world. He tells me that he didn't have a family to lean on or a family to be there for him. He tells me that they were constantly at odds with one another.
Yep.
And he said to me, because of that, Matt, I relied on him. He says, so he wants to let you know from the other side one thing. As hard as this was when you found out about his passing and the way that he died, he says to me, I want to let him know, thank you so much for being there. Thank you so much for being there. And it's funny because he tells me that you still go and have like drinks for him here in this world. And like you toast to him and you have these drinks thinking about him on the other side.
Yep, every time I have a drink, actually.
He said that to me. And then he's going to me, Matt, this is bullshit. This is bullshit. I'm like, what are you talking about? And he says to me, after he died, like I see beer bottles being lined up on grass, like in memory of him here in the physical world.
Yeah, we had a pretty big party for him for his wake.
Oh, for his wake. Oh, shit. No wonder why. Because he's saying to me, Matt, he goes, can you believe this? And he shows me like everybody laying down a drink for him. And he says to me, I can't believe this. I can't believe this. You know, when I'm speaking to him, the one thing that he wants to let you know is this. The way that you loved and cared for him here in this world, he says to me, Matt, I will always be watching over him from the other side. He says, and as hard as this is to go through life without him, this is his way of validating to you that no matter what happens in life, he will always be there silently by your side. He's also telling me about the dog that passed,
Yeah.
Please know he's got your dog in heaven, sir, because he's bringing that up. And he says to me, Matt, he goes, you don't understand this man. He's constantly loving animals here in this world. And he tells me that you're like always, like from when you were younger, you always had different pets here in the physical world. And now he's like, Matt, he's like, it's like Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey. I have to take care of all of these animals on the other side, he's telling me. And what the hell is with this? Hold on, wait a second. Now he's showing me some weird stuff. Who had the bird? Was that him?
That was him.
Shut the hell up. Because he's showing me like the bird on his shoulder. He's showing me your dog here. He's like, Matt, I'm like Dr. Doolittle. I got all these animals on the other side, he's telling me. Because when you lose a pet, right, they go back in heaven. Heaven is one place with those you love. So no, it's his way of just bringing that up on the other side. He says to me, Matt, you don't understand this dog. He tells me you had some issues with the dog here in this world.
He only bit me.
Do you know he's biting your friend on the other side, he's telling me? He goes,
deserves
tell him he didn't train the dog right. I can't make the dog stop biting. He's telling me, tell me the dog keeps grabbing his arm. But know that one of the things that he tells me is this, is that he tells me that you tried to save him in his life on different occasions. He says, and Matt, he says, when you sat down and you talked to him and had conversations with him, he says, that is something that I will never forget. He says, so please let him know that if there was one thing that I wanted to do is I wanted to validate to him that heaven and the afterlife was real, that I am there. And more importantly, he wants to thank you for all that you did with him, all that you did for him within life.